Awesome. Well, Hunter, thanks for being with me today in the hotel room in St. George.
It works out. It works out great.
It works out awesome. So today I would love to chat with you about your story.
Okay.
We both went to LESBC at the time. It's now Ensign College. But we both kind of got our start, I guess, at the BC. But I'd love to why don't you introduce yourself and give us the story of kind of how you got to where you are today.
Yeah, well, thanks for this opportunity. So I think, it all starts with like 4-year-old me always wanting to like win at Monopoly. Like as soon as that game was introduced to me, I was like, there's so many different ways to make money, but I wanted to figure out the best way. And then during high school, I took engineering classes, hated it. I took medical classes, hated it. And like one of the number one things, I'm in like a young men's group, so I work with young men all the time. Yeah. They're like, my parents always want me to do like these classes, even though I don't like them. I'm like, my number one thing is like, do the best in the class, but as soon as you're done, be done. Like find whatever you want. And I got introduced to marketing in high school, did DECA and all that stuff. Yeah. But Twitter started popping off. And I'm like, this is amazing. So I got a group of like 10 friends and we always had challenges, like who's the biggest celebrity that can like or follow us on Twitter. So like I had Hugh Jackman like one of my tweets. That's my awesome. Friend had like Carly Rae Jepsen follow him. And that was like at the pinnacle of Carly Rae Jepsen. Yeah. I got the whole University of Utah offensive football team besides the QB to follow me, and they invited me to play Call of Duty, and I was just like mesmerized by it. And I remember watching Shark Tank, and I tweeted at the Shark Tank company that was in Utah. I think it was called Lipsticks. Okay. Back in the day. Yeah. And they like replied, and they're like, "Do you want an internship?" And I was like 16 years old, and they were like down in Lehigh, and I'm like,
and again, this is on Twitter, right?
Yeah, this is just on Twitter. Yeah, I'm just sitting on Twitter, like the 16-year-old me, like just trying to figure out, what I want to do, and just have some fun with it. And I'm like, this is crazy how I can talk with almost anyone in the world and just get connected with them, and it just kept fascinating me. Yeah. And fast forward, served a mission, and I saw the power of like. We couldn't use like Facebook or anything yet, but we could tell people to go watch a video on Facebook and like they would share it. And we saw like people that we would teach, they knew those people on Facebook and they're like, oh, we already saw that. They shared that on their timeline. And it was just like blowing my mind. I'm like, this is going to be a thing. And this isn't like a fad. And fast forward, came home from my mission, went to Ensign College after one semester at Weber State because you know how it is. Like the associate's degrees at other colleges are just
There's nothing that compares to the one that the BC does, in my opinion, or Ensign College now. I keep calling it BC because I will just forever know it as that. But.
Yeah. Did you take a semester anywhere else before going?
Yeah. So I went to BYU beforehand, and then I also I had some classes at Weber too. But yeah.
And so like they're like, oh, you have to take all these requisites, and it's like they told me to take a billiards class just to fill my credits.
Yeah, which is
crazy. Like, I'm paying $800 for a billiards class. Why would I do that? Yeah. And so I saw the ad for Ensign where it's like, oh, you get real world experience. You actually work with clients, and I was like,
sign me up.
Sold.
And you probably hopped on it when they had like barely first introduced that program.
It was the first time they had all the classes available. They had a few test classes, but it was the first time they had the certificate available and the full degree. Okay. And so my plan was only to be there for one semester and do all 18 credits in their certificate. Yeah. But like day one, I walk in the doors and I'm like, I want as much. I went up to Barrett Christensen.
I know
good old Barrett.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I want all, like, give me everything. Yeah. Like, what kind of internships do you have? Everything. And he's like, here's this and this and this. So I had, on day one, by the end, I had an internship in Singapore, San Diego, and Salt Lake City, all remote, on top of my 18 classes. And my work just offered me a full salary position, but it was boring. It was like customer service at the Home Depot. Love the Home Depot. Yeah. But like super boring, right?
Yeah, for sure.
And I literally went back after that day, went to my boss, and I'm like, appreciate everything you've ever done for me. Learned so much in customer service.
I'm going a different way.
I'm out. And he's like, respect to you. Like you don't even have to do your 2 weeks. We'll just close you out today. You're so excited about it.
That's a good boss.
Oh, he was amazing. And like he was just about to give me like, make him like his number 2 at in the thing. so nice to me. And but anyways, the first semester, 18 credits, I'm just like hitting the ground running. I started picking up my own clients at the time, and I'm like, I freaking love this.
That's
and
awesome.
So anyways, like that's kind of the story of how I got to the college, and then there's a lot that happened from the college there. And then from there. But
so and at the college, you were involved with the student agency. So was I, and I don't think we. You must have left, because when did you leave? 2017?
Yes, I left April 2017.
Okay. So it would have been, I probably would have started, you probably were still there when I started, because I started right after I got married, but I didn't get involved with the agency until I was probably into 2017.
Yeah.
But yeah, just super cool that I don't know why we didn't really cross paths.
I think we knew each other, but we never directly worked with each other.
No, Yeah, so it's kind of interesting.
How was the agency for you? I'm stealing your question.
Yeah, for sure. It was interesting. So I was the agency strategy manager. So it was me and Alyssa. I'm trying to remember how to pronounce her name. She was Ukrainian, and I like her last name. I can't remember how to pronounce it, but I worked with Alyssa, and she kind of ran more or less like fulfillment, and I ran all the strategy for all the clients, and then ran a team, and it was fun. We had a blast. We had a good time. I think it was like one semester after mine that they just kind of dissolved it.
Yeah, and it came back, but it's not the same. Like, were you on scholarship?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay. Perfect. Yeah. So that was my whole goal going into the agency. So someone started it beforehand, and there were scholarships, and then they were about to get rid of it when I was there. And I'm like, no way. And like, how can I save this?
Yeah,
and so we went out and found like 4 clients that would pay for all the scholarships. And so that's
awesome.
That's
you probably saved it then for my semester, because I was on scholarship. I think anyone that had like more or less like a leadership position was technically on scholarship.
Yep.
And so, which was so nice. I rarely paid a dime for college, because I had it all covered with FAFSA at the same time, because I'd gotten married super early in my life, and so I qualified for FAFSA, so I like never paid for college, and I count myself very lucky for that.
Well, and the nice thing is Ensign's very affordable compared to most places, but you can stack scholarships. So that was my thing too. I hardly paid for Ensign because I fought for the scholarships from the agency, and then I had a private scholarship as well that paid for it all. That's awesome. That's the best part. like you, no pressure, no student loans.
Exactly. Yeah, it was awesome. But so I probably had, I think at one point we had about 8 clients, and a good half of them were the church.
Yeah.
So we ended up like we built the whole entire strategy for like the church's how-to channel for all the young adults at the time. We had built up a couple other brands through Boncom that they were working on, and it was a good time. I had a blast. It was like my first taste at like running like strategy from like 10,000 feet, you know, basically. And then that got me hooked. You know?
Once you sit down with a client and then you pitch them on everything, and then they're like, love it, run with it. You're just like, let's go.
Yeah, for sure. It just lights that fire. You know? So that's awesome. So you got involved with the BC majorly, and then what, like during your time with, I guess, Ensign now, I'm going to call it BC. Sorry,
just
everybody.
keep calling it BC.
But you got involved with the BC Student Agency, and then what took you to where you are today? You're now down in St. George, and you got involved with the What's Inside YouTube channel.
Yeah. So when I was at my last semester at BC, I was helping students also get jobs while running the agency. Because Barrett had left, we hadn't hired a new director, and so Barrett was kind of helping students land jobs. And so I kind of had to assume that position to help people. So I did both, and so I saw that What's Inside Dan was at BYU saying, hey, I'm looking for an intern for the summer to come out. So I just commented on his Instagram post, and I'm like, look, you're at the wrong college. They don't have a degree in social media. We do at LDSBC. We'd be such a better fit. Would love to recommend you some people. And he literally DM'd me back within 5 minutes. He's like, hey, could you get on a call in an hour? And so we got on a phone call. Supposed to only be 5 minutes, turned into 30. Such a good combo. And
the power of the DM.
Yeah. Oh, it's for sure. That could be a whole chapter in my whole biography, how many deals I've landed and just people's DMs and like sending even replies, just like replying in the comments.
Yeah, totally.
But anyway, so got on the phone for 30 minutes and I set up, I'm like, hey, 1 week from now, come to LDSBC. I'll find 6 people that would be awesome options for you in different ways. And then we can go from there. So we interviewed all 6, thought they were 10 times better than the BYU students.
Yeah, for sure.
Love BYU, but they're focused on advertising.
Yeah, the BYU Ad Lab, if he was talking to them, they're focused on big box agencies, and national, international agencies, and they're amazing at it. But LDSBC fits this unique niche, and Ensign College does that. I think is really unique, just in the country for placing students with creators like Dan, or like me. I ended up partnering with one of the professors. We can get into that in a little bit, but similar. Like I knew nobody from BYU that had the kind of experience I had at Ensign.
Especially, what was it, like 5-6 years ago? It was a whole different thing. I think BYU's catching up, but Ensign's still kind of leading the pace for those that take it seriously, right?
Yeah, for sure.
So anyways, he interviews all 6, thought they were all impressive, and then he's like, I want to interview you, and I'm like, sure, that's fine. I already had a job lined up, so I wasn't even thinking of it. I was just trying to get back. He's like, I'm really impressed by you. Can I just...
Can you just work with me?
Yeah. And I'm like, well, so he was pitching an intern position, right?
Okay.
And I was like, I already have a salary.
Yeah.
Like I already have like benefits lined up. And he's like, okay, what would it take? And I'm like, this number. And he's like, okay, let me speak with my wife, business partner, obviously.
Yeah.
And so a day later he calls back, I can do this. And I'm like, could you do that? And he's like, I can do that. And so we agreed on that. And
Good for you.
Thank you. So got started with that, and it was a wild ride. Like my first week,
I was going to say, maybe we give, because I don't know if everybody knows what the What's Inside YouTube channel is. I think definitely there's some people in Utah that know about him, and obviously around the country, but maybe give us an intro for who Dan and What's Inside is.
Yeah, so it started as a father and son YouTube channel. The whole goal was just to get extra credit for a second grade science fair project. So Lincoln decided for his
topic. Is his son, right?
This is his son, Lincoln. So Lincoln's in second grade. He's thinking of his ideas, and he comes up with the idea of What's Inside sports balls. Classic. Like every kid is interested to know, I'm throwing around this ball all the time. What's inside of it?
Yeah.
And so Dan decides to set up his iPhone 4 or 5 at the time. And it's literally like leaned up against the table like this.
Yeah, that's crazy.
It used to
be
they were
thicker.
Bricks. Yeah, they were bricks. So
thicker.
you could just set it like that. And
for sure.
That's how he shot it, right?
Oh my gosh.
And he shot 5 or 6 different versions. So basketball, volleyball, golf ball, baseball, and I think soccer ball.
Wow.
And just like real quick. And Lincoln you can go back and watch the videos. They have millions of views. But Lincoln is like sick with the flu. And so he's just giving his feedback for it. But for extra credit, that was the goal, is to post these YouTube videos. Lincoln presents. He did an awesome job, got an A. But for like the A+, he can tell his students, like his classmates, you can go to my YouTube channel and watch me cut this open and experience it with me.
Yeah.
And Dan was so proud of him because Dan wanted Lincoln to have really good public speaking skills.
Yeah.
Fast forward a year, they picked up like 1 million subs from those videos.
Which is just absolutely bonkers, especially at the time that they would have been doing this.
Yeah, so it was 2014 going into 2015, and by the end of 2015, so like a year and a half, they hit 1 million subs because they just kept going, and they would go and find different things. Like they bought those big old TVs that used to be super thick. They picked that up from like the DI or thrift shop for like $10. And he's like, let's cut this open this week. He got a bowling ball for $5, and he's like,
awesome.
And like just a grinder, and it looks
They kept the DI down in southern Utah in business.
Oh yeah, for sure. And at this time, they're actually in Kaysville.
Oh, okay, they were up in northern Utah.
Yeah, up in your neck in the woods.
Yeah.
And they're just having a blast and stuff. And then it was like beginning of 2016, they had the 3rd most viral video of that year. It went carpool cool karaoke with, I think, Adele.
Okay.
Pineapple Apple Pen, if you remember
Oh
that.
yeah. Oh my gosh. Don't get me started with that one, man. I'll be stuck in my head now the rest of the day.
Yeah, no,
man.
for real.
Oh my gosh.
And then it was What's Inside a Rattlesnake Rattle. So they cut that
Wow.
open. It was the third most viral video. It got like 42 million views on YouTube in a week.
Yeah.
And I think it's up to like 90 million now. So
That's crazy.
yeah. And so they started, building out the channel and everything.
Yeah.
And then 1 year after that viral video, that's when I come into the picture, and they're looking to expand in different ways. Primarily Facebook, that was like where I started, and then built out from there.
That's amazing, dude. So how many, so you came in around 2016, 17 when you were kind of done with BC.
Yep,
right?
So we graduated, I want to say it was like April 12th, 2017. I went on a week vacation to California, and then I started the next week. And
That's
it was
awesome.
Just like went for it.
Yeah.
And they were like #1 on trending the first week. And
that's
I was
rad.
like, this is dope.
This is
like,
great.
Yeah,
I came in at a good time.
Yeah, no, it was like perfect. They were just like hitting
That's
all
cool.
cylinders, and it was super fun.
That's awesome. So where are they today? What are they doing now?
So at the time they were at 4 million subscribers on the main channel. They're now at 7 million on the second channel. And then the What's Inside Family channel, which only had 300K, they're up to 2 million now. I actually have a gold play button for that channel because I helped grow that one, which is
amazing.
awesome.
Yeah.
And then for Facebook, that's what I was hired for. They had 30,000 followers. It's now up to 1.8 million.
Wow.
We've done 1 billion organic views across Facebook.
That's pretty amazing.
And then we created a secondary Facebook page called Electric Cars. So we own that domain, facebook.com/electric cars. And
very cool.
450,000.
Because he got really into, he's like a Tesla fanatic.
Oh, he loves it. Yeah. He loves EVs, and he was like one of the first ones to really have a Tesla in Utah. He bought like a second-hand one, and he's just driving around town, and people used to stop him and be like, "Hey, can I just jump in?" And he's like, "Yeah, sure, let's do it."
That's awesome.
Yeah. So.
Well, cool. So you've got to interact with a lot of fairly large creators. Over the course of the last couple of years.
Yep.
And you've also helped grow their YouTube channel, you've helped grow their Facebook. You've got to see kind of the inner workings of like what it takes to like run a full-time creator business.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
So and I guess in your opinion, what's the best way if you want to get started being a creator? Like what's the best way to start?
That's a great question. I think the first thing is you have to pick something that you're passionate about, because you'll fizzle out if you don't. So like Dan really loved working with his son and like having fun adventures, and so that was a perfect fitting.
It's an easy thing for them to do.
Yeah, and then the second channel, it's like whatever he wants to do. So it kind of built out from there. So as long as he had that like core thing, helped him, build. And that's how all creators are that I feel like are super successful. They pick something they're passionate about. And then the second thing is like learning all the best practices, like A/B testing, like trying your own things, figuring it out, and just not being afraid to fail. Like when I started on Facebook, so disheartening watching his video, his video on YouTube, #1 on trending. And he's like, "Here you go, Hunter, here's the video, you can put it for Facebook." And it gets like 3,000 views in a week when I began. I was like, are you kidding me?
Yeah, for sure.
But like, I just kept going and like continued to find like different things. And like now some videos just outperform YouTube. And there's different strategies on Facebook, and we could get into that if you want. But like, there's so many opportunities for each platform that people just don't identify, especially if it's like, say Facebook's been around for 17 years. And so people kind of shelf it. They're like, yeah, Facebook's okay. We'll use it for like ads. But when you talk organic with them, because that's like, I was so worried to do organic because I came from a paid background.
For sure.
And now I'm like, organic's the way to go. Like if I was running, and I just started my own business and stuff, and I'm like helping, creators and like companies have organic strategy. And in like the last month, I've like 2x'd one page, like just in the last like 20 days or whatever. And so it's just kind of that conversation is like, there's so many opportunities out there. Let's scale you up and build you up and have best practices. And then like just launch you into, the next couple of years, because organic is here, it is present. People
it's
just
here to
don't
stay.
focus on it or spend near enough time on it, and you have to take your L's.
Yes,
and like
for sure.
be okay with that. Like that's a loss. That's totally fine. But then once you get those big W's, it's like it's a huge win.
It's a game changer. Well, I had listened to I'm trying to remember his name now. He's that like comedian magician, and I'm trying to remember his name. He's French.
Oh yeah,
got a French accent.
Yeah,
I can't remember his name off the top of my head, but he's pretty big on YouTube too. But he, I was listening. He was on a podcast talking to another creator, and they were talking about during the pandemic. He like ended up like just moving to like Cabo in Mexico and rented out like just a home for a couple months with like his girlfriend, and they just decided to start making just ridiculously stupid, like you've seen these videos on Facebook, like they're like punching a hole through the wall or like spray painting on walls or like doing just the stupidest like recipes that don't make any sense just to get the views and engagement, right? And he said in one day they released 10 videos and they got like, it was something ridiculous. It was like 10 million hits in a single day off of these videos.
Yeah.
And that was at the height of the pandemic. Like back in 2020, where I think everybody was
online watching.
Exactly. So it's gone down a little bit since then, but it just really fascinating. And that was Facebook alone. And he was saying, I mean, this is what he said. I think he was making, a couple $1 million every couple months based on engagement on Facebook organically.
Yeah, and I think I know who you're talking about. And and it was always 3-minute videos. Like if you watch back a shot off of an iPhone, just one shot, like just a continuous, like, what the heck is going on?
Basically.
Yeah, I remember that because I was talking to, I think my partner rep at the time, and I'm like, how are you guys running ads on this? Like, and they're like, it's good content, people watch it, like, and I'm like, cool, that sounds great.
And that's like for whatever reason, if you want to get a lot of views, that's like the standard now on TikTok and Facebook. Organic is these kind of silly videos.
Yeah, like it's really interesting, and I think like, especially over the last, I'd say like year, they're starting to put more silos. So instead of like the viral content, they're getting so much better at like recommending you stuff and stuff like that. But there's always going to be the stupid stuff that just kill it.
Yeah, and that's what gets views. That's what people are, for whatever reason, interested in. I think mass people are interested in that kind of fun stuff.
Yeah, like during the peak, like I would say May 2020, peak pandemic, I was hitting it hard on TikTok. So I started our TikTok September 2019. And within that, like, I don't know, 6-month period, we grew like 400,000 followers and stuff, like decent views and stuff. But like May was insane. Like I think I posted like 20 times that month, and I think we did about like 100 million views on there and gained like 2 million followers. And like,
just unbelievable. And you guys, were you just cutting up YouTube video? You weren't like shooting native TikToks?
No, we weren't shooting native at the time. I think basically still to this day, I would say it's like 85% like taking what we shoot horizontal, and then I chop it up, add extra elements and stuff like that. And it was super fun. And at the time, I remember getting a phone call from one of our friends at TikTok, because they were like pumped. That was like their year, right? That's where they like legitimized like this is a place for creators. And I got this phone call from him, and he's like, hey, do you want to talk to Mr. Beast's like TikTok person? Like they're looking at doing it. And I'm like, sure. And I got on the phone, gave them like a couple tips and stuff. And obviously I think they're the fastest growing TikTok now is like them, and they're just killing it.
Not surprising.
Well, when you have just plethora of content and stuff, and they've gotten really smart. Have you seen that they've been like outsourcing to other creators?
Well, they've been outsourcing to other creators, but also his strategy with YouTube in general, with dubbing in other countries and getting into separate other TikTok accounts that are dubbed in other countries' languages, it's pretty amazing what they've been able to do.
Yeah, it's insane.
So you finished all this stuff with Dan, and you decided to go out on your own. Is that how I kind of understand it now, with kind of what you're wanting to do?
Yeah, so I still work with Dan on brand partnerships. So the last 4 years, like my role kept expanding at What's Inside and handling more and more stuff, like any startup. And so I started doing brand partnerships, and I'm like, I really like this too, and I want to expand past this. So had a conversation with Dan, and he's like, yeah, if you can still represent our brand partnerships, would love to work with you. And then you can just like build out your own business. So I'm working with creators on content management. So taking like their content from whether like they're huge on TikTok and they're not big on other platforms, then
and
I
helping them repurpose it.
Yeah, either repurpose it or build out like strategies for long form content as well, because that's what I worked with at What's Inside as well.
Yeah.
And then, or taking like they're massive on YouTube, but they have never catered to the other platforms, and just being like, okay, we're gonna, you know, slice and dice, get you going on there, and then handle brand partnerships and stuff like that. So
that's awesome.
Yeah, so it's kind of fun.
And you're running your own business is it's got its own ups and downs.
100%.
Yeah.
100%. And I'm like 5-6 weeks in, and I'm like, okay, this is good.
Little interesting.
This is good, but I've had a great response from creators that I've made so many contacts over the last 6 years.
You've made quite the relationship.
Yeah, and they're just like, yes, what do you need? Let's go. And I'm like, awesome. So I'm just like, I'm sure, you know, at Scroll, you guys have a whole system of processes.
Yeah.
I'm kind of catching up to that, so I can like, you know, really narrow it in, because the nice thing is like, and I'm sure that's how it is at Scroll with your position now, you just are like, I'm sticking to 80% of the stuff of my time will be sticking to the things that I know best. Yep. And that's what, like at What's Inside, I was like across the whole board and super happy to be like a Swiss Army knife.
Yeah.
But now I'm like,
it's nice to kind of hone in.
Yeah, hone in to those two things, and yeah, it's going good, and a great response already, especially on the content management side and the brand partnership side. So
that's awesome. Good. So from I guess an organic content perspective, Scroll is jumping in for the first time in several years, like building our own brand, right?
Yeah.
So we're doing the podcast.
Yeah.
We're doing a whole bunch of organic stuff. Shane and myself, we're jumping in on our own personal brands and trying to put stuff out there. And it's been an awesome journey, and it's kind of fun because it's like it's something that I've wanted to do for a long time. We just have never, I think, had the time. There was other things that were taking time, as you know, running a business, and it just organic. We've put it off for too long. And I know I don't think you're ever late to the game.
No.
There's always it's always time to get started, I guess. Yeah. And so we're just excited about what it's going to do for our business. We've already seen the ramifications in the last last year, as we've been very active on LinkedIn. But we're excited to jump into the whole video thing. But I guess, what would be your advice for maybe an established company that wants to get into organic? Like, what would you suggest doing first?
So I would ask you questions first. So like, what's your core goal for an outcome? Like, what is like success measured to you? Is it views? I would doubt that for you. Or is it like relationships and almost community? Like, okay. And then what do you want your community to gain from you?
Really, for us, we want our community to gain knowledge. We want them to understand digital marketing. Like, our audience is mainly businesses that are decently established, but like aren't doing anything on the paid side. Like, they aren't doing digital marketing at all. So like our classic client is like a local plumber. Who like has a steady flow of business, but like wants to scale. He's like, I want more trucks. I want more guys. I want to get out of the day-to-day. That's like our perfect client, because he's got money and he wants to invest in his business, and he kind of understands. He's heard like, what's Facebook? He's heard these things, right? And so he wants to jump into it. And so that's where we come in, and we provide them with a full setup. So that's one of our ideal clients. Our other ideal client is white label. So we work with other agencies.
Gotcha.
And so we help other agencies, one, market their own business. We do their lead gen. We help them onboard. And then we also help fulfill for their clients.
Okay.
And so those are the type of people that we're trying to hit, is these local plumbers on one side, and local home service guys, and then these agencies that market to those guys too.
Yeah. Okay. And then, so here's my third question, and then we'll dive into it.
Yeah.
Is your goal to continue to build up a clientele, or just almost get to, because like for me, like in my business, my goal is to get like 10 to 15 like just super happy and like clients. And that's just kind of my goal.
And I love that.
For right now. Are you looking to scale past that?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect, which is awesome.
Yeah, for sure. Like our goal is really to make ourselves a household name at a minimum in northern Utah, Wasatch Front.
You could expand past that.
And we could totally expand past that, which is kind of interesting. The reason why we want to like hone it in right now to like Utah is simply due to the fact that we have like, you know, we're approaching the 300 client mark and 80% of them are outside of Utah.
That's awesome.
So like for us, we really want to bring it home, and we want to be like, we really want to be a local name too.
Yeah.
And so that's at least our initial focus, and then we'll go after whatever else we want to go after next,
awesome.
you know?
Yeah, it's good to have like almost home turf superiority or like just established, like, but it's good to expand, obviously.
Yeah,
so,
for sure.
So if I was to dig into it, I would focus on different avenues of content. I think the first one, love the plumber thing, like day in the life of a plumber, and you guys kind of almost being the what is it, Jim Rowe or
totally dirty jobs guy.
Like if you're going off of the like blue collar nitty gritty jobs, go in there for a day and see what's going on, and then at the same time while you're shooting that content, shoot content for him that's like
that he can use for his marketing.
Oh, 100%. And I think like there's this plumber on YouTube, and he worked with another Utah local guy. I'm forgetting who it was, but
I think I know the guy you're talking about. He's really big on LinkedIn.
Yeah.
I'm trying to remember his name. He does like LinkedIn Lives. I follow him. Gosh dang it. I need to be better at remembering names, but I know who you're talking about.
It's Saturday. It happens.
Yeah.
It's the weekend.
Yeah.
But anyways, he started off really small, but then he had tutorials because here's at the end of the day, that plumber cannot service the whole world.
Yeah,
but
for sure.
he can give tips that can help the whole world, and then word of mouth drives to him.
Yep.
Or like, for example, like I think that plumber now sells his own like equipment that you can like buy. Genius.
Yep.
So like to have those solutions in there is amazing. And like, for example, have you ever seen the channel Jerry Rig Everything?
Oh my gosh, love that guy.
Love Zach. Yeah, Zach's the best.
He's the best voice. I could just like listen to his voice and just like go to sleep.
That's awesome. So I don't want to steal Zach's story, but basically he started off in college. He was a T-Mobile like phone repair rep, but he's like, this is super expensive, and I could teach people how to do it a lot cheaper. So he started making his own YouTube videos, tutorials, so people could, instead of like $100 to $200 to repair their phones, it was like $20.
Yeah.
He like outsourced the products directly from China to having the link in this description.
Awesome.
And within 3 months, he had a channel that was already making the same amount of money
as his salary
at T-Mobile.
Yeah.
And so it was a no-brainer. Like, just go for it. And so I think when people see that value and like understand, hey, he could be 10,000 miles across the country, but he took the time to record. And then from his standpoint, he can help recommend them products that he actually uses. He gets a cut of it, or he makes like whitelists his own products. And then he gets the full profit. And they're still having a huge discount. Everyone wins in that situation. So I feel like, and like, you know how it is, blue collar community, they're built on trust. Like
100%.
Yeah. And so like, they're going to convey that big time. And as long as you edit the videos correctly, and especially with like YouTube shorts, TikToks, like there's so many different ways
and it blows up in that niche. Like, and even me, I'll watch somebody mowing a lawn.
They're
20 minutes.
Oh, 100%. And like the people that power wash the driveways, like I'll do it for free. And you're like, ooh, this is going to be a good one. You like sit back, here's 30 seconds of my time. And I've literally looked in the description of one of them. I'm reaching out to one to work with them right now. Because I just think there's this huge opportunity in the sense of like, I have connections at Lowe's, I have connections at these companies. Why not just put the products right there in the description? They're already using them. They're on display. Like, connect with them and help them out. So anyways, so that would be one strategy. You guys kind of having the day off from the office and going and putting on the blue collar shirt. I think that would be super fun.
Yeah, I like that.
And then I think from the element of, you know, from the agency side, like I'm a huge fan of collaboration over just fighting each other when it comes to agency. And
I'm right there with you. 100%.
Yeah. And so I feel like if you convey that in the sense of like, hey, we work with this agency, they kill it in all these things.
Yeah.
And it's just a beautiful piece of content to highlight their brand, showcase what they're doing, and drive a story towards them. I think that also shows how much you care about working with them and builds depth with your audience. Totally. So that might not be the viral video, but that's the depth video.
But that's the depth video, and that's going to get, you know, the ideal clients looking at it, you know.
Yeah, for sure. And then, yeah, when it comes to, you know, just short form content, there's so much that you could do.
Oh my gosh, it's endless.
Yeah.
I think right now what we're playing with is, like, Shane and I are kind of doing our own personal brand stuff. That just fits like him and I's personality for now as the founders, and I think that's working really well, and we're already getting leads and quite a bit of engagement from that, and it's been fun to see. Like, we're taking basically the same content and just cross-posting it. So, you know, we're doing it like an initial edit and just posting it to TikTok, Instagram Reels, and YouTube Shorts, and just seeing which one's performing better. And it's been fun. Like, YouTube Shorts is blowing up. It's kind of crazy.
YouTube Shorts is awesome. Yeah, like
Shane's posted 0 subscribers, posted for the first time. Like, the video got like 5,000 views.
Yeah.
And, you know, he's got like a bunch of subscribers now, which is super fun, and he's killing it on YouTube Shorts. I need to get mine up there, but
YouTube Shorts is crazy how much you can grow right now. And then the beauty of it, in no other platform, I'm pretty sure Facebook hasn't even figured this out yet. Keep recommending that to them. But the recommended traffic, it used to be separate buckets between long form and short form.
Yeah.
But if they see your short now, they'll get recommended to your long form. So
exactly.
It's such a good hack right now.
Super, super cool. Well, Hunter, I would love to end on maybe your top 5 maybe pieces of advice for somebody who wants to start a YouTube channel, wants to start, getting involved in organic content, no matter who they are. Maybe it's a business, maybe it's a creator. What are like your top 5 pieces of advice for them?
That's a good question. So we'll go by platform. So with YouTube, I think make sure that you have a good title and thumbnail. There's a book by Daryl Eves that really covers everything.
Daryl's the man.
Yeah, Daryl's great. And there's a lot of core concepts in there that I would highly recommend buying that book. It's $20 and it will pay for itself. But title and thumbnail is huge. Use TubeBuddy or vidIQ it'll rank how well your title is. And so I'll sit for hours to figure out what titles will have the best, not only short-term but long-term longevity. And it's not like an exact science. It's not like ChatGPT that's will spit out, this is it, even though that's really good for title and thumbnails right now. I've had a couple people that are like, this is beating my job,
which is crazy.
Which is insane. It doesn't always work that way, but it is interesting. So I would say title and thumbnail for the first one, Daryl Eves' book for the second one, and this is by platform. The third one is looking at your data and seeing how the retention is on the curve. You have to understand what key points were people dropping off. Is that something that you're okay with? There's moments in this conversation where it was a little bit duller than other parts, but it continued it, and that's totally fine. Or in the next one, you're like, let's edit out that bit for this platform to improve it. So
makes sense.
Making the data work for you over the long term. I would say fourth thing is be genuine with the audience.
Just be authentic.
Don't go for the I'm so against following viral trends, in the sense of there's good sounds and you can do that,
for sure.
But 95% of the TikToks we ever posted had 0 of the viral sounds.
Interesting.
And they just killed it by themselves.
Yeah.
So establishing that you aren't just a part of a trend, that you have content that's meaningful and you should watch it
yourself.
And then I would say the fifth thing would be engage with your audience. Really, if they're going to spend 60 seconds to write you a comment, try to respond to as many comments as you can every day, and it'll gain traction. I'm working with a creator now that I'm helping him do distribution, community management, and everything. And I showed him his stats have gone up this month, which is awesome. Within 20 days, just killing it. And I sent him a text of the stats, and then I sent him a text of an example of a response, because I responded to a couple people, and the response was, Here, I'll just pull it up. I'll read it word for word, so it doesn't.
Yeah.
Because it was so good, and I was like, yeah, this is gonna be. He was pumped about it. Always gotta respect when a creator connects with their community. I feel like we hardly see that anymore, and I love when creators reply to even just the most random comments. By the way, I love your content, and you're easily one of my favorite creators.
That's awesome. Yeah, and it's just something simple like that. And I think we've seen, you probably know Keith Lee down in Las Vegas. He's on TikTok. He's that food reviewer guy. So, and he's been really good at engaging and responding on even thousands, like literally thousands of comments.
100%. Like and this is another thing that I'll recommend, like on any platform besides basically YouTube, if you reply to comments, that helps you in the algorithm.
For sure.
Like big time.
Yeah.
And so there was one time our video was going viral. It was doing about like 4 million views a day, like every day for a week. And I was literally responding to almost every comment that would come in. Yeah. And I totaled it up one year. I responded to like 500,000 comments.
Wow.
And we crushed it
just
that
absolutely
year.
Destroyed it.
Yeah. And so I just like
take the time to respond.
Yeah, as much as you're making content to put out there, it's just as impactful to make people know that you appreciate them for watching that content.
And you'll remember that forever. Literally going back to the very beginning of our conversation today. Yeah. And you remembered all the people that replied to you on Twitter. That engaged with you, and that was years and years and years later. And I think that right there is the take home from this. You know, and create content and then absolutely engage your audience as much as you can.
100%.
Well, Hunter, thanks so much for the time today. Appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks for the invite.
You bet. Do you want to just give a little plug for yourself, where people can find you?
So, you know, I've worked in social for the last few years, and now I'm actually jumping in and promoting myself, which is fun. But you can find me on Twitter at Hunter Devries, or LinkedIn. I'm going to be a lot more active on there. Hunter Devries on LinkedIn. Happy to connect and have any kind of conversation or answer any questions. So
awesome. Well, thanks, Hunter. And then we'll link everything in our YouTube and in the show notes for Hunter today. So we're excited. Thanks so much for the time today, Hunter.
Appreciate it. Thanks.
You bet.